Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
And on that note, people deluded, I'm back again. Good morning to those of you in the UK. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. I hope you're all doing well and safe on this Saturday. I hope you've all had a good week. You know, you're enjoying your Saturday after moving that much closer to your dreams, hopes, goals, and aspirations, and all of those things. If not, we go again next week, people. I hope better than that. I hope you've all, you know, got your health and everything's all steady. And I'd like to extend that to your loved ones and all of those sort of things. Please make sure you're hitting the like button early doors. 100 likes is the target. Can we go and do up that one, people? Obviously, whether these, as you lot know me, don't shoot the messenger. Do I think we can get Martinez or any of these players we've been linked with? Hell no. You know, Martinez, Awa, Camavinga, bare different signings that have been linked with our club. But you know, it's nice to just be here and just speak about it with you lot. At Nothing Better, we've had good debate, and whether they happen or not is another thing, but it is what it is. I hope you're doing well and safe. Please make sure you're hitting the like button and you're subscribing to me on Twitch. You know, we're almost at 700 Twitch followers. The journey to 1K is going strong, and actually, again, the journey to 20,000 on Twitch is what we're looking at, and you know, the journey to 50,000 on YouTube is still there. As I keep saying, we actually flirting, very much flirting is the right word, with 40,000. We're at 38 and some change. So yeah, if you haven't hit the sub button, hit the sub button and do what you can for the engagements. One love to the moderators, subscribers, supporters, Twitch gang, all of that sort of stuff. I appreciate all of the support you guys give me. Without you lot, this thing is pointless. So yeah, big up to everybody who is locked in and whatnot. Just before we crack on, what are we getting at? Our man said, stop speaking about Martinez. He's never going to agree to join us, even if we agree a fee with Inter. Whether that might be right, we've been linked with him, and I'll speak about whatever the bloody hell I want. You know, no one's put a gun to your head to be in this live stream. You know, just turn off the internet and go elsewhere, or better yet, can just block you, and then you won't have to hear about any of this. But yeah, moving away from that, all well and good, us being serious, him wanting to join is a whole nother thing. Exactly that. We're going to get into everything. Like I said, a man said in the lobby waiting for DG to set off. I appreciate that. A man said too much hype over Martinez, future target, yes, but he's no better than Lacazette in my opinion. I think he's a better than Lacazette by a distance, if I'm completely honest with you, you know, but fair play. I think I genuinely believe that, but not at everything. I don't think his link-up play is better than Lacazette's, but his link-up play is good. The man actually scores goals, etc., etc. And I know his statistics aren't as high as people make out, but I think he's a bloody good footballer, man. So yeah, Martinez would be the dream transfer. Everyone get your opinions in. One thing I love about this community is, you know, people can agree, disagree, and all of these sort of things, but it is where it is. What have you said? Martinez would be the dream transfer. He is Lacazette. He is Lacazette. It's not even close to as Lacazette is not even close to as good as Martinez, and that is fact. If we can't get him this year, we will not get him in the future. Daniel has said, oh, mate, I don't think you've seen Martinez play them, mate. He's insane. Again, so you lot are doing your beefing thing. Big up, everyone. Daniel, one love to you, because I see you in the other live stream and things like that. I appreciate the support, man. And whatnot, people. You know, I'd be open to taking him. A man said DG's block list is massive. You know, well, because we haven't got time for foolishness. Like life is too short, man. I'd rather just block, man. I have a glimmer of hope due to the Athletic reporting it in regards to Martinez, and that's where we're gonna get into it. I've got the article in. Well, I say in front of me. It is in front of me, even though you lot can't technically see. You're a clown if you haven't followed the Twitch by now. Come on, my guy. I appreciate that propaganda. Outgoings is a huge issue. Kola reportedly wants his contract terminated. We'll get into that. I've seen that as well. Sakayo Baka, hope you're doing well and safe. You know, it would be Arsenal to need to address the spine of this team and to bring in a striker. I'm not saying a striker isn't required, but it is what it is in that regards. So yeah. Let's crack on into it. Hit the like button if you haven't. So yeah, I'm gonna start off with the Athletics report on him. I've copied and pasted it, people, so it's not gonna look glamorous. Let me actually scroll down, because I've copied and pasted 2 articles from the Athletic relating to Martinez. Now, for what it's worth, if I'm Martinez, I don't think it makes sense to join Arsenal because, you know, you was linked with Manchester City and Barcelona, you know. We hear City are looking for Kane. If things change, you might be able to explore that option. Obviously, where Barcelona are concerned, it seems that with Aguero and their finances, the Lautaro Martinez case, at least this season, isn't a thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you've won the Copa America. You've had a fantastic season at Inter Milan, winning a trophy. You know, would you not want to try and beat Juventus and pip Juventus to that again? Obviously, you've got a World Cup next year as well. So there's something to be said for stability, staying with what you're doing. You know, you've got a good relationship on the field with Lukaku and the rest of your players. You're feeling good. You know, you're getting admirers. These moves will come if you do your job. And obviously, other clubs, their financial landscape might look a bit better next season. So there might be scope for you to join these teams. Because for me, if you're leaving Inter, you need to be going to these Real Madrids, these Barcelonas, these Manchester Cities, these PSGs, these sort of teams there. But, you know, their loss could be our gain. And listen, if there's a glimmer of hope at doing it, let's try and get it done. I do think Arsenal are more on the Martinez case, but fundamentally, I don't think it's going to happen. When you hear they want around 60 odd million, it does seem realistic. But I mean, half of the transfers we've been linked with seems like it could be done. 25 to 30 odd for Alwa, you know, 65 for him. Maddison, maybe 67 is excessive, but it looks like there's feasibility. Whether these things happen or not is another thing, because as Arsenal fans, we go from debating Odegaard or Maddison to ultimately getting no one. Like, our linked player FC has been amazing. You know, we put a bid down for Locatelli, knowing he's not signing. There's talk of Odegaard. We've been here with Maddison. We've been here with Buendia. Been here with Alwa. Camavinga's gone to the back burner, but that was there at the start. And I'm probably missing a whole bunch of other names, people. You know, Rodrigo de Paul's gone to Atletico. You know, our linked player list would be amazing. Like I said, we'd probably win Tour de France if we signed all these players. Tour de France, the Olympic, every Olympic sport, we'd ban up the Prem. Fundamentally, you know, like I always say, it's nothing other than just talking points. And this is all it's going to stay at unless I see some proper aggressiveness. And for me, I've been saying it, and I'm sure you lot would agree. If Arsenal was fixed up in all the areas it would be, I do think they want a striker. I think Arteta specifically wants a striker. I don't think he's convinced with every aspect of what Aubameyang can give you up front, apart from his goals. Laka, he gives you the general play, but not necessarily goals. And he has some, he likes Eddie, but it is what it is. For me, I would love Martinez to sign for this club without a doubt. But for me, it's all good having Martinez. You would sign another attacker, and until you fix that midfield, we're just going to have another attacker that's not going to be scoring goals and doing the business through some fault of his own, but mainly because the team ain't there. The midfield needs to get addressed. A lot of you always sit here and ask me, what would I rather? I think right back, personally, centre back's been addressed, quote unquote, now with Ben White, but centre back, centre midfield, right back, them areas are of equal importance to fix, and I'd say they're of more importance than the striker, because again, you know, we're ninth for goals. You'd imagine the harder job is actually to work with our midfield and defense versus our strikers, but we'll have to see. I'm open for it, but we'll just be top heavy, and you can sign whoever you want if this could happen, and it would be a myth, and you know, it would be a myth because there'll be no one supplying the business. I hope you lot can see, like I said, this is copy and paste from The Athletic. Allegedly, let me zoom out a tiny bit. Sorry, let me zoom back in one more. Can I? I'm trying to find the perfect blend in zooming in. Yeah, I think we found it, while also being able to scroll down. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. If all of you hit the like button, then we've done our job for today. 100 likes is the target. Arsenal exploring the opportunity to sign Lautaro Martinez, with Inter continuing to adjust to a more sustainable financial model over this window. So we know they've sold Hakimi. Will there be other significant departures from Inter? We have to see. A move has been previously considered unrealistic, but The Athletic understands Arsenal have long held Lautaro in high regard, with the North London club and Inter Milan in contact over a prospective deal for Hector Bellerin. 1 minute Bellerin staying, then he's got a new deal, then this, that, and the other. We'll get into that. Sources indicate Arsenal have inquired about Lautaro's availability. Inquiring don't mean nothing. You can have an interest. We should have a long interest. He should be on a list of strikers to monitor, and should have been since I came on him in the Under-20 World Cup. So Arsenal should have known him way before that. He should be on the list. Inquiries and him being on a list, it does give me confidence, but it doesn't mean anything. There's no offers. There's no people are meeting to see something. And it's coming off the back of a Hector Bellerin thing, allegedly. It is thought Lautaro would be interested in a move to Arsenal if Inter want to sell him. So that quickly squashes reports that he only wants to move to Spain. I do think he'd hear out Arsenal. I do think with, you know, Arteta being a Spanish speaker, Edu being South American, there is a sort of carrot there to be able to relate to him and have some emotive language. Obviously, Arsenal is Arsenal, innit? We're not the biggest of clubs, but it's still, you know, if we go off the historic, there's still a lot of prestige and dreams to sell him. But other than that, for me, if I said I'm not trying to do anything. Apparently, sources state Tottenham have also been mentioned in relation to Lautaro, but only as a contingency option if Kane leaves. So we might have a quote unquote free run at him. Like I said, you know, Barcelona were linked with him before they actually went for Aguero. They've gone for the more experienced Argentine, and they might sign another striker. But again, it seems like if anything, they're going for Kylian. You know, Real Madrid, it don't look like they're looking. Well, I mean, sorry, Real Madrid are going for Kylian. It doesn't look like Barcelona are going to make a striker. You know, Juventus to Inter ain't really a thing. You know, the PSGs and these guys that could afford it. You know, City, who knows if the Kane business doesn't work. So we'll have to see. I would love Lautaro Martinez. I like him a lot. You know, he's a very good striker. He's got good movement and he's a bit of a hothead. I really like that about him. Like I saw him get sent off in the under-20 World Cup against England. The same one Haaland was there. If only we could have moved for these men now. So, you know, to hear that he's open to the move, it gives you something. But again, it comes down to money, and it comes down to if we can move people on, because suddenly you'd imagine surely you have to find a home for Bellerin to go on a temporary basis on loan. What happens to Martinelli? Now, Arteta has said he can play across all the front three positions, so Martinelli shouldn't be too problematic. But it's ultimately the departure of Lacazette, and fundamentally, no one looks like they're willing to spend 15 million and give him a respectable contract in terms of wages per week and a contract length. So until Lacazette leaves, it looks like a myth. An Arsenal move for Lautaro may be reliant on the departure of Lacazette. It is believed his name has been mentioned to Inter, but they are thought to only want cash. Again, see, they don't want to do swapsies, you know. They don't want to swap Pokemon cards with us. Like, they're not on it. Like, they don't want it. They don't want to swap sweets with us. They don't want to do any of that. Cash only. And this is not something that's just relative to Arsenal. Everyone's trying to do the swap deals. Everybody's trying to be creative in what they can do in the market. For us, though, you have to find the money, and they're not trying to hear the swap deals. You know, I don't know whether we've offered Bellerin and Lacazette or either or and offered to make up the difference, but they're not trying to hear that. In the same way, Leicester are not trying to hear that Maitland-Niles is valued at 15-20 so that you can give us 50 million and one of them. They want cash money. So again, the next thing is outgoings, you know, and we haven't done too much in that regards. I know it's easier said than done, but that's the one thing that concerns me, because there are dark clouds over a season where we should just be talking about the players that we need here and you know what we need to do. We've got too much of the love dramas. Again, I'm not expecting everything to be done in the market, but 2 or so weeks before the season starts, I know KOLASINAC is linked with a move away, but on paper, KOLASINAC, Willian, XHAKA, Bellerin, Leno, we actually haven't been told exactly what's happening with the 3 of those names I've said with Bellerin, Leno, and XHAKA are concerned. It just seems like they're here now. They've decided to stay. It still leaves you with a bit of feeling a bit weird. Torreira is still here. Maitland-Niles and Joe Willock, what's happening there? Like I said, I'm not expecting you to do all of it, but at least 2 of these names should have been gone. We started well. You know, early doors, Saliba went out on loan. Guendouzi, loan with an obligation or whatever happens there. You brought in a couple, but there still needs to be a lot done, and we're in catch-22. We know that we've got some mediocre players on big contracts, you know, if not length, wages per week. We know the COVID has mashed up the market, and we know we just simply don't have attractive players, really. I think Torreira is, but with the exception of him, we've been knowing outgoings would affect it, you know, because as I keep saying, we're in that catch-22. We can't really bring in players without letting people go. We're probably at that period now. We can't let people go without bringing people in, with the exception of some. So how you deal with departures goes on. I mean, in a season where Lacazette had a good year in his years running down, it doesn't seem like anyone's put offers. In the same way we were told XHAKA will have, the minute Arsenal want to sell him, there'll be a bunch of teams in for him. It seems like there's only Roma, and Roma weren't prepared to go over a limit, so I can't see where these are coming from. So that probably affects our plans to not only go for Lautaro, but probably MADDISON and all of these other more higher echelon sort of players we've been linked with. It shouldn't stop us from getting deals done, because like I said, when you look at Martinez, you need a different bunch of targets. You know, you've got your Martinez, you've got Isaac, but you need to be, can you get someone from Brazil that's got the same profile but might not be known? In the same way we used to find Eduardo and all these things. Someone, you know, way before Lewandowski was doing the business for Dortmund and things, someone had to, Blackburn tried to buy him when he was in Poland. So you need different targets and things like that. You know, the minute Aubameyang signed a new deal, we should have been looking for a striker year in, year out and monitoring people. Going down, please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Any exit from Inter would level up Lautoro's salary. He is believed to earn around 2.5 per annum net in wages, while Lukaku, Eriksen, and Alexis all make more than double that. And to be fair with you, with the obviously with what's happened to Eriksen now, we don't know if his career is going to keep going on. Hopefully it can. Alexis should never be earning more than you at Inter. Obviously, it's what you can hustle. Lukaku is a big player for them. So again, they're going to have to look at his contract. He's got 2 or so years to run, and I would imagine with selling Hakimi and maybe a couple of others, and you know the landscape of football becoming a bit healthier in theory in a couple of months or years, well next year after hopefully we're over COVID, they'll be in a position to offer him an extension. But it's a dangerous game considering he's just won Serie A, just won Copa America, 2 years on his deal, and he's only going to get more and more admirers. And like you can see, his salary was up for his review, particularly with Barcelona expressing firm interest 18 months ago. And it seemed like he was dead set to go Barca before something changed. The Argentine international had previously agreed a new contract with Inter. We could be being used. Our Arsenal's rumours could just be to get him a deal as well. But apparently he previously agreed a new contract with Inter under his previous agency, but the club could not sign off until they had concluded negotiations over financing. Lautaro then changed agents in April and contract talks had to start again. A move to Arsenal would, it is understood, see him increase his salary. In fact, it should be. They're also pitching a new project to prospective signings this summer. Arsenal were not expecting Lautaro to be on the market this summer, especially at such a reasonable price point, but Inter need to sell players this summer despite securing 50 million as a cash injection from Oak Tree Capital in May. They still have to run a tighter ship. And while they sold Hakimi to PSG, that is only one part of their efforts to bring in running costs down by 15 to 20%. They are stable this summer due to the refinancing package, which is worth a total of 275 million euros. The Serie A champions have to finish the window with a net transfer profit of around 80 million, while star striker Lukaku is of interest to Chelsea. He is the last player in to want to sell. And Chelsea could say, you know what, you're not giving us Martinez. We're going to go and grab, I mean, you're not giving us Lukaku, we'll take Martinez, and that might be it. You know, they might just bite the bullet. So Arsenal don't have a free run at this per se. Arsenal had a plan entering the window, but there has been an acceptance that in a volatile market, unexpected opportunities may present themselves. This is one such case. True, I've been saying that as well. They have long been considering options at 9, as I said previously, but an addition has always been somewhat contingent on departures. That would also certainly be Eddie and possibly Lacazette. Eddie's future should be irrelevant. My man should be going. It's more Lacazette. And we know the club have tracked Isaac, but he has signed a new contract with Sociedad. Tammy Abraham, apparently Chelsea have dropped the asking price on him. He's another one. Apparently sources have indicated, though, that Lautaro would be a simple deal for Arsenal in terms of negotiating with his club. Inter just need an acceptable offer on the table for a deal to be done. Now, I hope the club have done what they normally do and filter things to the Athletic, but when something feels too good to be true, it probably is, you know. It just feels, like, as I say, as Arsenal, we're used to this, innit? We're linked with bare players. Then we're linked with Lautaro. Then we're going to see mad propaganda. Somehow we're going to find out Lautaro's grandma and Edu's grandma used to go to school together and pick Guinness with each other. You know, then we start hearing that negotiations aren't a problem. We've done this. It just seems like it's just loose ends to be tied up. Then ultimately we move away from Martinez, and then we hear these same articles come out and say the club felt he wasn't the right option. There's priorities elsewhere, and we try to save face. So when something feels too good to be true, it probably is. It probably is. For me, it seems like a bid can be done for Martinez, but you need to act quickly because you could say, you know, Spurs have been linked with him. We could fight Spurs for him. Come on now. Chelsea have been linked. Chelsea are looked at him allegedly, or they could turn their attentions to him, just like City. Again, other big clubs could be interested according to what could be done. As much as I would sign off for this, it would be Arsenal to be underperforming based on last season in attack, sign a striker and still not have any cam. What would this mean? If you spend 60 odd million, where's the money for Maddison? Or for me, I'm looking past Maddison and saying, where is this the individual that's going to address creativity? With XHAKA allegedly staying, whether it's games being played to tempt Roma to bid or not, I think that means we're not going to go for a partner for Partey, and we're more going to double down on a 10. Person, if it came to it, I'd rather find a number 8 who can create and be a partner for Partey, or play instead of Partey in that role. If, for example, with a Lokonga or something, just because I think there aren't too many majestic 10s. So And I do think our business has shifted. Suddenly, Leno staying, Bellerin allegedly staying, XHAKA allegedly staying means we're not probably going to see less goalkeeper links beyond the second choice. I know Ramsdale is still there, probably going to concede. We don't need a right back if Bellerin stays. And XHAKA, I've already said it probably complicates midfield. And I think the club will cower away and not look to revamp that midfield anyway. So it seems like it could be done. Obviously, he did his thing. He joined as a 20-year-old people and done and it's gone from strength to strength relatively at Inter. He's had a good partnership with Lukaku. There's not really too many good striker-on-striker partnerships, and Conte's doing his thing. No need to read any of that up for you people. He scored 17 goals in the league last year. He hasn't got 20 league goals yet, which sounds a bit hypocritical. I always say 20 league goals, but I think there's always an exception to the rumors. And I think this guy is I love him as a striker. I've spoken about him before. You lot have spoken about him. He'd go from strength to strength. And I'll be real, we can dangle the carrot that, listen, we want you to be here, be a leader of a new school, Premier League, more money, all of that. But we recognize Barca, all of these things are going to be in for you. If you develop, these clubs will come in for you. And it's cool, you know. Liverpool got Luis Suarez from Ajax. Barcelona came in for him. He got sold. It's cool. Like, he helped them. Things got reinvested. You know, Lautaro Martinez, you grab him for 60, you might be able to sell him for 100, or assuming he does the business at Arsenal by God's grace. And that could be someone that could be filtered back in. Now, I would, you know, for me, if we could bring in Lautaro, I would do that. You know, we'd see if Aubameyang could score goals again. Lautaro's there, Lautaro through the middle, probably Aubameyang off the left with Arteta now. You know, then obviously for me, the third choice would still be Project Martinelli, probably Balogun. So we'll have to see, really. We'll have to see. Eddie should have been gone anyways. You know, there's still too many players that's futures are speculated. Like, I'm not expecting all the business, but as I said, you've got Nelson, Eddie, Torreira, Joe, Maitland-Niles, Kolasinac, Willian, Runnison. Technically, there's a football team in itself that need moves and all of these things. And like I said, some are easier than others, some are harder than others. It's very difficult. But we haven't seen anything of significance, and we're a couple of weeks before the window closes and the season starts better yet. So we'll have to see what happens in relation to Martinez. Let me know your opinions, people, and all of those things. Hit the like button if you have not done such. So let's put this at the top. So that's that, people. We're going to get into this Ben White thing because I think Ben White was second choice, people, based on this article here, you know, but we'll get into that in a sec, man. I hope you've all been hitting the like button and you've all been subscribing on Twitch and things like that. Big up to the Twitch gang as well. Where are we? How many likes are we on? It's not even telling me, is it? We're only on 96 likes. There's 300 odd people locked in. You lot are doing the guy dirty, people. Hit the like button if you haven't already. What's going on there? Are you concerned by Martinez not hitting the 20-goal mark as of yet? Of course. But I'm willing to do things that are an exception to the rule, and I like him, man. I don't rate Lautaro Martinez, but I would take him over Tammy Abraham. He is more of a Lacazette replacement than Tammy Abraham. Maybe even a bit of a replacement on improvement on Lacazette. They're not trying to hear it. Arsenal have probably been offering player plus deals all the time, but no one's trying to hear it, man. At 22 years of age, Eddie shouldn't be accepting of the fact he's Arsenal's fourth choice striker. He needs to go out and get game time. Bro, man just said, shut up. Tell your girl to make me, man. Listen, you're a grown man taking mirror selfies. Pull your knickers up, man. Pussy or you. But anyways, moving forward with all of that, people, let's see some common sense, man. How did we not sign Buendia? He looks amazing on his debut. Well, we was told that we didn't want him. So I'd say that's why. Allegedly. I don't know why, man. We should sell Nketiah for 8 to 12 million. He isn't good enough. Balogun has a much better chance to perform in the Prem. Bro, for me, it all depends, you know. There's probably things going off in the background and stuff in relation to these futures, because I refuse to believe. If I'm Maitland-Niles, for example, sorry, people. I need to make a timestamp of this. Sorry, people. We're gonna get into it. I've just had another one's there. What's the thing called, a fort or whatever it is? Where's the timestamps? Have I deleted it? I'm panicking. Sorry, people. Sorry. Let's go. Let's go. Sort out players' futures. So as I was saying, I find it hard to believe, you know, like I said, things are probably going on in the background. You know, transfers do take longer to happen than people give him credit. People give it credit for. It's not easy, but like somebody said, you know, Nketiah, you're barely playing. You've barely sniffed the surface. You've said you're not signing a deal. So that means, you know, your future's away from the club. Whether you want to run down the deal, maybe you want to see how the season develops if you were to stay. You know, maybe you want some clarity in that I might go on loan this year, but next year I might have a plan, which I'm not against him signing a new deal and being sold for kept for resale. Or if we take it at face value, he's leaving. I find it hard to believe he's not going to find another club. Like someone said, he's 22 now. He hasn't played 20, 30 league games. He hasn't been a consistent man in a team. You know, you need to go and develop. How are you going to be a striker, a gunman, if you ain't clapped off a gun and tried and hit somebody? It's not going to work. You know, Balogun's called, Eddie's called a fox in the box. He's not a fox in the box, because in the professional game, you haven't done fox in the box stuff. Your goal record doesn't shout fox in the box. When you look at the surface area he scored goals, you could say that, but it's not clinical. You're a striker with a poor CV. I'm not trying to get at him. I'm saying he needs to go out and play. He's got the same advisor as Balogun. Now, realistically, when Balogun signed that new deal, are you going to make your client, who's also a striker, sign a new deal without knowing the plans the club have, whether that was Martinez, and if they did, you know, if he signed it, regardless of that, there's an issue, regardless of what they're doing, you know, what they're doing with new strikers, their existing ones with Aubameyang and Lacazette, also my similar sort of age mates in Tyrese and Balogun. And on top of how you're going to see me, the flip side of that is now he's also the same agent, so cool. Dave said we're going to use Balogun. We don't know for Eddie. Balogun, cool, you're staying. You're not going to sign a new contract. Are you going to make your client sign a new contract if he's not going to play? If you're a good agent, that's not something you should be doing. So I'd find it hard to believe he's not engineering a move. For Maitland-Niles, you said you felt, you know, I think he's a bit deluded. He said he felt some sort of way to not get a call up for the Euros. You know, you're only going to get Euros by playing consistent. Joe Willock's been given a taste for it. You know, he's been given a taste for first team football. You know, he speaks of wanting to go World Cup and Euros and play for England. You're closer to play. Obviously, there's big club bias, but you're closer to the England squad for what you did for Newcastle than anything you've done at Arsenal. You know, and it's a World Cup year. You lot are not going to get that unless Arteta's told you lot are going to be part of his plans. You lot are not going to get that at this football club. Reece Nelson, you played 70 minutes of Premier League football. You need to go and develop. So I do think these guys are probably pushing out the boat, but at the same time, we need to sort these things out. There's too many of this sort of business couple of weeks before the season. Now, obviously, like I said, some things are easier said than others. You do need to take a while to consider what is the right move, especially from these younger players. But I think the younger players, they won't have problems getting moves. You will find someone, whether you get an acceptable fee or whatever is another thing. But I think you can find, I think it's not easy, but you can find a home for Reece Nelson, for Maitland, for Joe. These lot can have, you know, they're young and all of these sort of things. Where we need to put the energy is, we hear Kolasinac terminating his deal, but these Kolasinacs, these Williams, where you've really got to earn your keep. How you're going to find a home for these lot, I don't know. But there's too many of these guys, couple of weeks before the season starts. We haven't done anything of significance. You know, I'm inclined to believe at face value, Leno, XHAKA and Bellerin are staying, because we hear two are signing new deals and stuff has gone quiet in relation to Leno. But we don't know. Is it going to rear its head in the next few weeks, or are we going to be cool and then in January the same thing happens again? You know, there's still question marks. You know, how have we gone from it looks like Xhaka's out of it to now in the team again? You know, what does that mean? How does that affect our transfer business? You know, there's a lot of this. Like I said, there's too much dramas here. You know, you've got Torreira. You know, we started well, moving on Guendouzi, temporary finding a home for Saliba, but you know, you've still got to sort out Torreira, Kolasinac, Eddie, Joe, Nelson, Maitland. You know, Runnison, the move didn't bang. You know. And there's probably Kolasinac and there's Bellerin and there's a couple of others. So we need to get a move on, because again, some of the money you bring in could help you get the Martinez, could help you land something else. But I think it's being revamped for what it's worth. If XHAKA is staying, which I do think he still might go to Roma, but if he is staying, then I think we're going for more of a 10. And I think we're looking at a striker now. I don't think we're looking at right back personally. I think we can kiss that one goodbye, and it is what it is in that regards. You know, the season's almost starting. Almost start. So yeah, big up everybody locked in. Let me keep seeing what you lot are saying. Of anyone, man, just keep going, man. I'm not gonna lie, I don't sell Lacazette for no reason. Like, you need to bring in a striker for me, anyways, of some stature. If you're going to sell him personally, DG, would you buy Maddison or Martinez? Pretty much same price. Well, we probably need Martinez more. I mean, Maddison more, but well, you know me, I got South American bias in it, so I'm saying Martinez. You know, you need to. The brain is saying Maddison, the heart is saying Martinez in it. So make of that what you will, my guy. Morning, Mars. I hope you're doing well and safe. There's no more talk about Maddison. Allegedly, you know, there was a little 1-2 rumblings, but that one there seems to have gone to the back burner, and it just seems, you know, what we already know sort of thing, in that Arsenal are interested. They, you know, there's a willingness to, provided the money's put down, there's a willingness from Maddison and his advisors to keep it moving and join Arsenal. There's a willingness for Arsenal to buy him, and there's an acceptance that while Leicester don't want to let him go and have no intention of selling, if you put a money down that they can't refuse, like we've seen with previous players, with Mahrez, Kante, Maguire, and there'll probably be a couple in the future with respect to Leicester. I can't imagine Telemans and these guys don't get top European interest, not before too long. They will let him go. Keyword, you have to put the money on the table. And can I see us shelling out 70 million for Maddison, you know, to go with 60 odd for Martinez, to go with 50 odd that we've already spent on Ben White, before we probably talk about some other areas that apologies, Mikel Arteta may want to address. So I'm not too sure what's going to happen in that regards, man. It's an interesting one, man. And we're going to have to be very creative in this market, because nobody's trying to hear the swap deals. You know, Lacazette, Inter not trying to hear that. They need money. Why if they need money and they're not trying to give people new contracts, why are you going to sign Lacazette, who's going to want to be on decent bread? You know, Leicester, they don't want, you know, it's not that they're saying no to Maitland-Niles, but they're not trying to hear, oh, we're saying 70 million, give us 50 and he's worth 20. They're not trying to hear that, you know. And it's not just us doing the swap thing. Bare people are trying to do this swapsy stuff because of the market. Everyone's trying to be creative, and for us, it's crippled us, you know, because again, we've mismanaged. And you know, like I said, I'll shut my mouth until the end of the market. But you know, it's all fun and games being linked with these big names and doing all of this. If they don't, you know, all that matters is what happens comes the end of the window. And come the end of the window, if I do not see midfield addressed, if I don't see, for me, defense addressed, if I still see certain people here, then I've got a lot to say. But I recognize it's, you know, it's very difficult to do business. I can't, as much as I get at Arsenal say they're laxed, I don't really understand what we're doing. It's not easy to get transfers. They're drawn out. Fair enough, Arsenal's are more drawn out than most, but it's a drawn out process. It isn't as simple as just signing bare man and all of these sort of things. So I'll cut the club courtesy, but we finished 8th. I'm not asking for everything to be done, because we didn't get this squad overnight. So I know, or in one transfer window, but I want significant business done. Like, I want to just be able to look at that 11 or whoever Arsenal starting 11 and say, all right, cool, I can believe in them. Obviously, depth and all of these things is a problem. But I just think too many times as an Arsenal man, or for some cases for you lot women, you look at the squad and there's lesser evils. It's like you're looking at XHAKA and El Nene. All right, cool. XHAKA's got a lot of problems, but he wants the ball. El Nene's a bit too safe. I want to believe in the midfield, believe in everyone in defense. You know, it's not that I don't believe in Maitland-Niles and Chambers. I just know there's going to be games you're going to look like square pegs in round holes at the right back. And I just think I'm personally tired of the love dramas. This Cedric business, Bellerin business, Chambers business, Maitland-Niles business. Maitland and Chambers, they'll do it for me if we don't sign another right back. You know, I'll give Cedric chances, but I just want a next man. But saying that, we're probably not going to sign a right back because of there's bare ones on the wage bill and whatnot. So we'll have to see, man. We really will have to see. But like I said, I will shut up until the end of the market. Then I've got a lot to say. And even with new signings, that's half the job. I do think there's a lot tactically Arteta has got to address. Game management, man management, you know, attacking and all of these sort of things, finding more clarity. You know, as much as I like that he chops and changes, I think he needs a bit more stability across his centre half partnerships, across who is the right back and the winger, and in centre mid, and all of these sort of things. But we'll have to see what happens. We really will have to see, man. It is what it is. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. I'm 1 sec, people. I am still here. Appreciate for that super chat, people. Has my fan broke? I've just realized the fan stopped spinning. Okay, cool. I'm about to say, I don't know why the button turned off. Thinking, why is it getting hot in here? I know my content's fire, but you're boying it a bit. 479 of you locked in. If I hope we've now cleared 100 odd likes or done some significance, man. Please hit that like button. We're at 175, so we're actually almost at 200. Big up, you lot. Please keep hitting that up. Keep sharing that some love. Check out the pin message and all these sort of things. Let me scroll all the way down because I see one super chat. Where's it gone? Growing Simba, first things first, appreciate you for sending the super chat. Second of all, what have you said? Salute deluded. With no champions in Europa League distractions, surely that's a free one to win the league with Ben White for Arsenal. I would love for the super chat, my guy. I'd love to, but you got to run before you can walk, If you ain't got money for McDonald's, you can't talk about Benny Hunters and Hacky San and things like that. Let's just play our position, stay humble. We need to be qualifying for Europe / what I'd hope Champions League. We need to be consistent week in, week out because, well, it's all set up right now. Like you said, it makes sense. One game a week, with the exception of when the cup comes into it. We should be able to do this and that. But there's been times last season we've only had one game a week or 2 games in 10 days. And we've had the whole week to prepare, or we've had the international period where these players haven't gone off with their countries and they've looked absolutely clueless. So in theory, it makes sense, but Arsenal always have a way of making it look like it doesn't, and for me, this is where I'm on to Arteta more because I think a lot of people fell for some nonsense in that, yeah, he had a poor preseason. It's not like nobody else had that, but we're acting like, yeah, he had a poor preseason, but we're there in December saying he never had a preseason. This is why we're here. I mean, what are we doing all week? How much literal hours are these players in training for? And we heard double sessions, homework, and all of this day in, day out for that whole period. What we doing? We're approaching his second year, full season. This ain't an Arteta outing, but Arteta, the players, Kroenke, all of these guys, there's no hiding place. Anyone who needs their handheld, they need to leave the club because we finished 8th. We finished 8th and things have to get better before it gets worse. If you do believe it can get worse, it can. We're going nowhere fast. So we need some more clarity across everything. So it's all fun and games when we're playing once a week and we're still seeing mad stuff like Willian False 9 and all of these sort of things. So it makes sense in theory until it doesn't. So it's a good, it makes sense, man. Good opinion. Love for the super chat. But in relation to the league, let's just focus on seeing, having the same consistent team, seeing consistencies for our team in 2 weeks, because they say, because we do stuff like, and I don't want this to be the case. You might lose to Brentford and then beat Man City, even though we probably can't. We do volatile stuff like that. And until I know in 10 games what I'm going to get, until I can confidently say from now to December, we're still going to be in the mix for the top 4. I don't know. I started my YouTube channel in 2016 and I feel like a broken record because I keep sitting here and saying from August until December, listen, these players just need to think I need to get to that December period around the pack for top 4, whatever position. From December until March / April, that's the next period. And then from April to May, you just got to be of the thinking of we've worked so hard, we've got to this point. Don't slip it up now. Don't let this hard work be for nothing. And there's a lot of things that I can criticize Arteta about, but at the same whammy of that, the players have to want it. Like, I don't think these players I don't think they want top 4 enough. I think they would like it. I don't think top 4 is their make or break. I don't think this team wants to die for top 4. I don't think they really want to, not everybody, there's some that want you. I don't get the vibe that these lot want to, they understand a career is short. And every year you have where you just finish 8th, you're wasting it. At best, you have 15 years as a pro. It don't always be like that. I don't think anyone wants to leave their own hallmark or their own legacy in relation to football. I don't think so because I don't see it enough. It just seems like Arteta has to do this Mr. Motivator all the time. And anytime somebody needs to consistently be motivated, you're not on it. You've got to want it yourself. Do I think they want it more than the fans and us give them credit for? Of course, but they don't want it enough. Or they would address a lot of these things themselves. A lot of individuals are making the same mistakes. That's literally suicidal. That's literally insanity, expecting different results by doing the same things. These lot need to arrest their own problems. Arteta needs to, I feel a healthy amount of pressure needs to be applied on Arteta because I don't think when he makes bewildering calls, no one's calling him into an office or WhatsApping him if the result goes south and saying, why did you do that? That's just what I feel anyways. But yeah, man. DG, what if Arsenal signed Maddison as a number 10, Aouar as an 8, and Lautaro as a 9? Do you think we'd be in the top 4? It boosts us. It boosts us. There's a lot of depth, but for me, again, It's not just about the players signed. It's about utilization of the tools. It's like, you know, we know other teams are going to get stronger. We know we haven't got the best Premier League team. But, you know, with respect to Man United, I'm not trying to make it that, you know, big money doesn't always mean success. It's about the ability of these players or of the manager to be at it 38 times in the league, and it's literally the better team over a 38 game period. It correlates to finishing higher and things like that. You know, it don't matter how well class you are or how good you are. If 1 week you're not on it, the other week you're on it, the next 2 weeks you're not on it, 3 weeks you're at it, then they're not. That's inconsistency. And I think no matter how good these other teams have been, no matter how rubbish our team is, last year we did not get top four because we shot ourselves in the foot. You know, if you was to list Arsenal's problems for not getting top four, I'd prefer the other teams to be better than us because it would make this a lot easier. We could say, fair enough, them and they are better than us, you know. But too many times we've lost games where, yeah, teams had better players than us, but Liverpool beat us 3-0 last season. We gave them goals, and we're just here, oh, at least it ain't 5. You know, we had a defeative mindset. We're not breaking down low blocks like against Crystal Palace. I'm looking and relying on Kieran Tierney at left back. You know, we are our own worst enemies. We shoot ourselves in the foot way before you can factor in how good other teams are and all of these sort of things. We win battles, not wars. You know, such is our inconsistencies and being consistently inconsistent. What I mean by that is, yeah, quote unquote bragging rights. You can say you took 4 points off United. You did the double over Chelsea. You did this and that. But Chelsea won, you know, United qualified for Europe. Chelsea are in Europe, you know, and won it. 38 game period, don't lie. And these lot are on it sometimes, they're not at it enough. And the thing is, you know, we can list about 5 to 7 players max. It's not good enough, but 7 players on it out of a 25-man squad, it's already a losing game. So, boy, we really will have to see. I can't lie. I do think, you know, while I think our squad isn't good enough, I think it's a cop-out just to simply say, oh, we can't get top 4. I don't care how impossible it is. That needs to be you man's dream. Because by that logic, you know, half of these teams should just, you know, teams below that have finished below us have given other oppositions, bigger teams that we've got annihilated about. You know, certain guys have given them games. Absolutely silly. I think the right back situation is the least of our priorities. I think it's as important as midfield and as a centre half, but fair play. And I think you lot are going to see it. Yeah, you might see Cedric, Chambers, Maitland-Niles, whoever lock it down, but there's going to be a period you're going to see. You're going to see. And you look at that spine, what's the point of doing a job half-axed, you know? If you're building a new house, why are you going to put new flooring in and then not pattern up the wallpaper? It's not making sense, is it? You might as well just do everything. You've got a first choice left back with Tierney. You've brought in a new centre half. You've got Gabriel when fit. You know, if Leno's staying, then fair enough. We'll revisit goalie a year from now. But you've got a quote unquote competent keeper now. Sign a right back, because as much as I like Chambers, Chambers is my first choice and I like him. But there's going to be games he looks like a centre half playing right back, and he looks like a square peg in a round hole. The same goes for probably Maitland, another one I give opportunities. You know, Cedric, this is your role. And if you could lock it down and give us something to just, you know, allow us to revisit it next year, then fair enough. Bellerin, out of all of them, I just don't believe in Bellerin. And I'd want it for him the most because I actually like Bellerin. I just think he's bog standard, like really, really bog standard. I don't know what he's good at. He's the one player in that squad, with respect, I think he's shit. Like, I don't think you're good at anything. At least with XHAKA, I can say I see what you tried to do. I don't know what Bellerin's on, man. Man, like Bob Lee Swagger, you're moving like Kante with this mad work rate. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I want to see a team that can press for 90. That's all I ask for. The mentality is our worst flaw. Exactly. Consistent. All these changes, they're not long lasting. You see us press on occasion. It's not ingrained. Because again, these players don't want it. And again, I don't know what Arteta's doing with the pressing. As I always say, our first defense is our attackers. Our first, you know, our first defender, sorry, is our attackers, and our first attacker is our goalie. Do you see consistent playing up from the back? Do you see proper tactical fouls and all them sort of things there from the front men? You see it on occasion, but then other than that, you'll see one man pressing, and one man pressing is stupidity because you just pass around him. He's getting tired, like he's dead. It's a madness, man. We saying DG, hope today has been a success and a step closer to your future goals. Vels, I appreciate that. Yeah, man, I think I must have moved a little bit closer towards trying to get, you know, I think the first target is 40,000 subscribers. We're flirting with it, so we keep moving. There's 238 likes. Keep running that up, people. There's 554 of you locked in, so a couple people are doing the thing dirty. How long until we win the league? For me, it's 6 to 8 years. Not a clue, man. We need to. For me, I can only see qualifying for Champions League or winning leagues and all these things. I can't factor it if you're not doing the basics. Big up DG. Wondering if it's only me that hit the like button, and look at how many subscribers. 40k by the end of August. 50 if we start off on a winning run. Hit the like button, people. Bottom. Appreciate that regardless. But yeah. What else have we got? There is a lot of arrogant players at Arsenal that think they're better than they are. They need to humble themselves. I think our players are humble, but to a degree, I see where you're coming from. Can Arsenal afford Maddison and Martinez? Bro, I don't have a clue, man. Not a clue. Man said I always look stressed. I mean, have you seen anything to be happy about? But I love it. I love speaking with you lot, regardless, you know. What do you make of right back? I'm fine with Chambers doing the job for one season and looking out. So I've kind of made it clear. I think you need a right back. I think you always for me, that's gambling, and I don't advocate gambling. If Chambers gets injured, what's going on, man? We're gonna get ourselves in some serious problems, man. Why has no one been sold? Not a clue. I'd rather Aouar, but Guimaraes is a baller. Please stop spamming. Moderators, anyone spamming blockity block, please. Blockity block, just like that. Sorry, James Salsa. Apologies, but again, we haven't got time for that. It's just dead. Appreciative of that, S. What do we do with Willock? I don't know, man. It's just he's in the halfway house. Willock has to force the ball out himself, man. You know, what does Willock want? He needs to do what he needs to do to improve. Remove your love for Arsenal. Is it the best for you to stay here? Will Arteta and Edu be considered failures if El Nene starts in midfield against Brentford? Not necessarily, but it would be very underwhelming. So, yeah, man. I don't know what the plan is, Sandro. I'm just like I told you, look, I just accept Arsenal at face value. Whatever we're linked with or whatever we see, I come here and I speak about it with you. Look, I cannot speak about Lautaro Martinez if I did not see no links or did not see Ornstein or whoever speaking about it. I just accept it at face value, accept it as a talking point. Anything else that happens beyond that point is down to the club, innit? And if it's that, man. You know, so let's speak about this Ben White stuff quickly. Allegedly, based on what you can read here, he's second choice, really, you know. But I'll leave you lot to draw your own conclusions. Let me delete the Martinez article and then we can pattern this up for you lot. It's a bit of a long read, but let's do this thing, people. Pardon me. Here we are. See some positive words. Barry, appreciate it, man. Big up DG. Love your show. You talk a lot of sense. I mean, for every you're not so deluded, you really are deluded. So I don't know where to stand, but I appreciate that. C, I hope you're taking care of yourself. I hope you're still well. DG, I will hang myself if Arsenal fail to reach the top four. Moses, please don't do any of that. You know, there's plenty of reasons to live. I know football is more important than life or death, but I'm sure you've got a family and loved ones. Please please go and seek help if you need to speak to someone. That's not a nice thing to say. But moving away from all of that, though, folks, this is copied and pasted from the Athletics article, as I said. Apparently, the Brighton hierarchy played hardball. Again, for some backscope, but some details are emerging in relation to Ben White. And based on this, I get the vibe he was second choice. But apparently, the Brighton hierarchy played hardball to achieve their initial asking price during meetings involving key figures at both clubs conducted in person, on Zoom calls, and by phone over weeks. Apparently, Arteta made it crystal clear to the club's owners that White was the man and the player he thought was best suited to of bolstering their defense and transforming their ailing fortunes, there was a sense that they would always get it over the line. Apparently, The Athletic can reveal Arsenal have tracked a defender for over a year, as did all big clubs. At no stage did Brighton blink during negotiations. So again, you pay the asking price or you don't get your man. Arteta asked Bukayo Saka for feedback from England training. White's camp have been told that Arsenal hope there are more signings to come. Now, obviously, you're gonna, whether they happen or anything. And I mean, what can Ben White do if we don't deliver in terms of transfers? But Ben White's probably been dangled the same carrot the fans were. New signings are coming in. They're not gonna tell him who, but we're trying to do this, we're trying to do that. You're not gonna be the only guy coming in. And I do think I think we sold dreams to Partey, we sold dreams to Gabriel. I think Balogun's been sold dreams signing that new deal, as do I think with Tierney and Saka. But I'm not gonna lie. Apparently, Brighton were bracing themselves for interest in the 23-year-old long before the end of his highly impressive debut season in the league. Brighton leading clubs had scouted White regularly at matches throughout last season, with Chelsea among those interested at the start of the summer. But it was Arsenal who pushed ahead with a formal bid. They watched White closely for at least a year, with the defender having caught their eye during his loan spell at Leeds in 2019-20. He had been their priority signing since Seville's Jules Koundé made it clear he would not be interested in a move to the club due to the lack of Champions League football. Now, I don't mind that. You can't get one target, go for another. You should have a list of targets. The profile clearly was a young centre-half who's got a bit more of a standing in the game than some of our existing young centre-halves. But that immediately tells you that Ben White was our second choice. We didn't get Champions League football. We could have got Jules Koundé. This isn't me saying Ben White isn't going to be a good signing. This is actually me praising the club because you've gone for somebody else. Now, people might look at that and say, cool, you went from Jules Koundé, who's been at Bordeaux, won the Europa League, I'm sure, with Seville, done the hard grass, where Ben White, for me anyways, he's been impressive at Leeds. He's done, he's been on a couple of loans at Peterborough, Newport. He's learned his lesson, but he's only been in the Prem 1 year and you spent 50 odd million on him. Now, clearly, we was prepared to take that and probably throw a bit more bob on it to bring Jules Koundé, but that tells you it was second choice. I'm just throwing that one out there. Which I don't mind. You can't get your first choice, go and get your other one, but he was second choice. So I hope that you know exactly what you're going to do with Ben White, because you can already imagine the headlines if we still look iffy in defense. And I'm not saying Ben White has to improve us by himself. He can't. We need a system. Apparently, Brighton, despite losses, didn't need or want to sell one of their prized assets. The ongoing generosity of owner chairman Tony Bloom meant the club were in a position to name their price, then sit back and wait for Arsenal, like many of these clubs. Apparently, there was no clause in White's contract that would allow him to leave for a certain fee. That's not something Bloom has ever been willing to offer. Apparently, Brighton never even considered budging on their initial demand of a guaranteed 50 million, irrespective of additional clauses, based on factors such as appearances, and their bargaining position was strengthened at the end of May, obviously when he made the squad for the Euros. Those close to White said he's rarely phased and takes everything in his stride. He doesn't deal in what ifs and maybes, and was never likely to have a strong opinion on his future until offers were on the table. Now, obviously, I hear that you don't get gas, you don't count their chickies, but let's be real. A young man who's been in the Prem for a year, you're being linked with Arsenal, City are in for you, allegedly Chelsea and City, apparently PSG, you are going to think about it somehow. But you're right, you have to focus on your future and things. Apparently, Arteta asked Saka, to get his view on his potential new club mate, and Saka gave some positive feedback and things like that. Apparently, Brighton and Arsenal first met to discuss the prospect of a deal face-to-face in mid-June. Scrolling down, apparently that meeting was constructive but challenging, and at that stage, there was no agreement. Garlick and Ashworth worked together at West Brom prior to Garlick, the club's secretary and legal director, succeeding Ashworth as sporting and technical director in 2013. So you would have thought that would have helped tip the scale. Despite nothing being agreed at that first meeting, those historic relationships helped smooth the negotiation process and created an environment where it felt a deal was possible. And that's what you want to do. So, yeah, man, shout out to Garlick. Apparently, Arsenal's first offer was believed to have been around 42 million, bit by bit, as Ashworth and Barber resultedly refused to budge on Brighton's 50 million asking price, and they had no reason to budge. He signed a new deal not too long ago. He's increased. He's only going to get better playing and getting called up, and then it might go from 50 to 60. So again, it's a bit of what I call positive karma. There was a time where Brighton and teams like, with respect, Leicester's bigger than Brighton now, but these teams could get bullied by the bigger teams. Now you have to pay through the nose. Grealish could have went for pennies to City once upon a time. Now, if he's going, it's 100 million. And I feel when you add that in with the factor of, the Dutch clubs and all of these other clubs are getting are poaching our young players because of what we used to do. I think karma is hitting everybody back. So it is what it is, man. Apparently, the final terms of the deal include a sell-on clause. Apparently, he has a 5-year deal with an option of a fifth. And yeah, apparently Barber and Vinay agreed on via the phone. Apparently, the key elements, notably the guaranteed 50 mil, were in place by that stage. The closing talks between the chief executives were more about the details in the structure of the deal, such as the time period of the payment of the fee and the sell-on clause. Apparently both camps were calm, civil, and professional. Apparently by this point, White's camp had already had in-depth telephone conversations with Arteta, in which the Spaniard made clear exactly where he saw the defender fitting into his team as the right-sided centre-back, which for me, I'm happy because you can see how the lines can get blurred, where man is being used in midfield, right back, etc. I don't mind if he has to do it on occasion, but at Arsenal, or specifically under Arteta, it would have been a thing like 2 games centre-half, 3 games in midfield, 4 games at right-back, then 5 games, 6 games back at centre-half. It would have just been mix and match and not making sense. And apparently, so I imagine he has to have had talks with the owner, with the manager, and see how you fit in and whatnot, and things like that. Apparently, it's also that Arsenal hope that he won't be the club's last significant signing of the summer. Hope, we'll have to see. Apparently, those additional deals may be dependent on exactly who Arsenal can get out the door in the coming weeks. The signing of White has taken up a big chunk of the club's transfer budget, but it was deemed an opportunity they had to take. This after a player who's been on the radar of many of Europe's biggest clubs in recent times, Liverpool and PSG, name drop there. Obviously, we don't really need to speak about Varane. We know what we're getting with Ben White. We know Saliba. We spoke about the whole Saliba business and things like that. Apparently, a source close to Brighton says a 50 million transfer even 5 years ago would have been unthinkable. 10 years ago, people would have laughed. So it's a real landmark for the club. Fair play. So yeah, hopefully it means there's more things to come. But until, we'll have to see what happens, really. But fundamentally, Ben White was second choice. If you got Champions League football, you might have got Conde, but we have to put up with Ben White. Hopefully he's a good signing, and we wish him all the best for his time at Arsenal, people. So it is what it is in that regards. And, let me just get this out of the way, man, because there are conflicting reports. Apparently, Hector Bellerin's agent convincing Arsenal over exit demands as transfer gathers momentum. As you lot know, his agent was seen in London on Thursday. We know Bellerin seems to be angling for a move away. His agent apparently visited earlier in the season Villarreal and Betis. For some reason, that didn't work. He's been linked with Inter. Hopefully it happens, people. But Hector Bellerin's Arsenal exit looks to be accelerating after his agent met with the club's hierarchy on Thursday. Pardon me, despite having 2 years left on his deal, there seems to be a growing inevitability. The 26-year-old's time in North London is coming to an end. We've been linked with a whole host of right-backs or people with the ability to do such. Apparently, we met on Thursday with Edu, or his advisors met with Edu on Thursday, better yet, to try and convince the club to sanction a deal. Allegedly, he's got interest from Villarreal, Atletico Madrid, but apparently he favors a move to Inter Milan for a variety of reasons. Getting quite bored. Apparently Arsenal have shifted and were prepared to accept a loan thingy, people. Bellerin's representatives have reportedly appealed to the club to accept a loan with an obligation. If it's an obligation, why not, man? Just get out the door, man. It's believed that Arsenal value Bellerin at around 20 million, a figure Arsenal want to enable them to secure a replacement for the Spaniard. The CEO of Inter said, we cannot make heavy investments and will act with creativity, trying to seize any opportunities. Many clubs will not be able to spend practically anything. That's also true, people. That is also true. But then there's conflicting reports because apparently Arsenal make Hector Bellerin U-turn with Inter Milan open to transfer demands. Arsenal have reportedly eased their demands over Hector Bellerin, paving the way for a move to Inter Milan. This isn't the talk of him wanting a new deal. I'm sure there's rumors of him signing a new contract. So I'm not going to go over it. That one is just saying basically the same thing, that we're prepared to open. We're prepared to do a loan thing. But there has been rumors of a new contract, people. When we just look at this, hopefully football.london can save me. I did see the article in The Guardian, people, but Apparently, Edu is looking to add a goalkeeper, a creative midfield, and a right back before the transfer window shuts in August. However, the Brazilian may have changed his mind on signing the latter, as the Guardian have claimed that the club has offered Hector Bellerin a new contract despite the Spaniard wanting to leave the Emirates this summer. Let's click this link and hope we see something. As you lot can see, Arsenal signed Ben White and want Bellerin / XHAKA to extend contracts. Now, I hope we're just playing some mad game with the two Italian clubs and saying, you think we're playing, you're going to pay the money. I don't see how signing XHAKA to a new deal helps us. Neither do I with Hector Bellerin. Out of the two, who would I rather get a new deal? Probably XHAKA, because at least I can say I've seen you have a good game of recent. I'm going to scroll all the way down. Apparently, the club have not lost hope that Hector Bellerin and XHAKA, both of whom are keen to move. Why are we offering unhappy players new deals? If you're not Eddie and that, where there's real resale values, because you're literally very young, there's no point. Who are both keen on the move, will join Ben White in this season's squad and are preparing to offer them new contracts. Bellerin's representatives met Edu, the technical director, this week and were informed that Arsenal would like to extend his deal, which ends in 2023. Internazionale, I just said Inter Milan, don't know why I tried to do the Italian thing, are interested in Bellerin and have proposed a one-year loan deal with an option to buy next summer. Obligation, we don't need option. However, Arsenal will only entertain a permanent move or a loan with an obligation to purchase. Atletico are also monitoring the situation closely, with right back Kieran Trippier, keen to return to England, and Man United are considering a move. But it looks like Man United are, they've just caught their breath back by getting Varane over the line. It seems like they're trying to see what they can do with Pogba, and they'll address midfield before they look to come for another right back, which obviously is going to have knock-on effects for us, whether he's going to Atletico or getting his preferred move, obviously, to Italy. Apparently, a similar situation applies to XHAKA, the subject of a bid from Roma. Arsenal have rejected the offer and will ask the midfielder to agree to a contract extension. XHAKA's deal also expires in 2023, and the club are keen to protect themselves while ensuring two experienced players are retained for at least another year at a time when replacements could prove costly and difficult to source. I hear that. I'd rather keep XHAKA than Bellerin. You can make XHAKA give him the El Nene role. It's gone on to talk about Ben White. Big up Ben White for signing for the club, but we're not gonna, stay on that there. So that's that, people, in relation to Hector Bellerin and Granit Xhaka new contracts. It's a bit mad, but it's all mad in the day and life of an Arsenal fan, man. Bellerin / Xhaka new contracts. Absolute madness, but who to beat, and all them things there, man. Maddest of social experiments. Let's delete all of this just so it looks a bit prettier. Right, man. Bloody big, long, lot of stuff there, innit? Bloody hell. Yeah, it is what it is in that regards, people. 628 of you locked in. Please make sure you're hitting the subscribe button, you're following on Twitch, and all of those good things. We're at 294 likes. So over 600 of you, and there's over 600 of you. There's 294 likes. If you do not hit the like button, Arsenal are not making any signings, unexpected high bills, your girl's going to leave you, you're going to bang your toe. But hella bad fortune is going to happen for you. Well, if you hit the like button, positivity your way. What are we saying? Because that was quite an earful. What are you lot carrying on and saying now? I would sell Laka and Aubameyang for 75 million to Dortmund in a swap deal for 90 in a swap deal plus 90 for Haaland. BB, I think you're playing too much FIFA, but fair play, man. XHAKA will be a Roma player. I think so too, but it's never over until the fat lady sings, man. Every season, there's at least 6 players that need to be sold. This club, man, says Chase Gold. I would rather XHAKA and new duo over Bellerin. This club is an absolute joke. XHAKA and Bellerin should be gone, along with the likes of KOLASINAC and Nketiah and more. On the topic of KOLASINAC, people, I think we can get on to that one. Big up everybody locked in. KOLASINAC / Joe Willock, we'll call that. Where is it now? Let me actually close some things so it makes it easier to look at and all of those sort of things. So yeah, the first thing, where relation to KOLASINAC, we have heard this before. Apparently KOLASINAC is in talks to terminate his contract with Arsenal. If his contract is terminated, then we will hear his name a lot with Fenerbahce. So another expensive free transfer. It looks that we've signed and not learnt for, and we probably need to move him on. If we look at Joe Willock, allegedly Joe Willock favors a move to Newcastle. In fact, where is it? I'm sure I had another link for you guys. What's going on? Where is it? Sorry, folks. I'm gonna get back into it in an absolute second. I'm still here. We're still speaking. I'm sure there was a couple of things. So yeah, for what it's worth, you know, LT Arsenal has said Joe Willock. Well, this is from the Chronicle Live. I think I've got the article, but apparently Joe Willock remains keen on the Newcastle switch and the chance to prove himself in the Premier League in a season where he's aiming to put himself in contention for England's World Cup 2022 plans. You know, you're not going to get that unless you're playing. So we'll have to see what happens. But apparently Joe Willock retains Newcastle hope and takeover delay reaction. I'm not going to speak about their takeover, but allegedly, Gunners are still spinning plates in the transfer market, leaving Newcastle waiting on their priority target. But Willock, the notebook understands, remains keen on a Tyneside switch and the chance to prove himself in the Premier League in a season where he is aiming to put himself in contention for the World Cup. Now, again, at some point, Newcastle are going to have to move on. At some point, Joe Willock's going to need to force it because for me, Joe Willock, unless you're having the hope that Arsenal are going to use you next season, if you're trying to be selfish and seize your development, whether it's at Arsenal or elsewhere, you can't care about Arsenal's plans. Arsenal's centre mid plans are not relevant to you. They're relevant in the sense of, you know, you're kind of being held prisoner. They're not letting you leave and continue your future until they find someone, but you can't care about that. That's for Arsenal. Joe Willock needs to say what is the best for me, and it might be to leave for Newcastle on loan or permanently rather than keep sitting on my hands because you're a couple of weeks from pre-season. I mean, from the season starting, we're still in pre-season. So I would look to force that. And for Newcastle, at some point, they've got to move on from Joe Willock. As much as he might be their target and they'll wait to the end, they've got to move on. Willock would be perfect for that, but the delay in signing him reflects Newcastle's problems in the transfer market. They have looked at Ross Barkley. You know, they were linked with Axel Tishabi, but it doesn't look like I don't know whether he's going. Conor Gallagher's staying in London this time. He's not going outside of London. He'll be staying at Crystal Palace and joining Patrick Vieira's men. So yeah, man, it would be good for Joe to go to Newcastle, but we have to see what happens in that regards. You know, he needs to force the boat out. We're getting to that period where we need to force the boat out. Apparently, this guy has said hearing Matthew Hope, who's having a good World Cup, is drawing interest from Arsenal and Everton. It's looking likely he'll make a move from Schalke following the Gold Cup, and we know Schalke need money. I swear they got relegated. He's a decent young American prospect, so I don't know how much of truth that is, especially when we haven't addressed more pressing matters. But yeah, it is what it is in relation to them, man. Matthew Hope. But yeah, man, hopefully we just see some people's futures decided because we're getting closer and closer and closer to the window being closed, and we're just having to focus primarily on, you know, the league and them things there. Hit the like button if you haven't already. That's that one there. What are you lot saying, folks? Let me scroll up because now I can finally take in what you lot are saying. This is our opportunity to win the league as we don't have many competitions. I'll take your word for it. I wouldn't say money's ruined the game at all because all you hear Tony Adams and them Arsenal players say is how George Graham underpaid them. All you hear, all of them cared about P's, and I still think people, you know, P's are relevant but irrelevant. You know, it's other reasons. Fun fact: Arsenal almost signed 11. Almost signed 11 is unbeatable. He might be, but so was Cannavaro, really. It's likely to take at least one more window to move on players and bring in what's needed. I can see the right back slot remaining as it is though through January with Cedric or Chambers slotting in. Not ideal. No, here you see, man. Just have to make do with it. Why do people get mad of the fact that we were second behind City after December? We had no number 10, no Smith Rowe, no Odegaard, thus no goals in the first half. Overall, we had the third best defense in the league. I don't know who was mad about that, but fair play. You know, you can be. It doesn't matter where. All that matters is where you finish in May. Serious question, DG. Seeing how our preseason has showed Arsenal persisting with slow build-up play, the same issues with goals conceded, with the season about to commence, what approach to games would you like to see Arsenal go by? A more attacking prowess built up on the front foot or a more pragmatic, defensively secure system? Well, I do like the fact that he wants to play out from the back. I do like one inverted fullback. I just would like to see things quicker. I would like to see better pressing. A lot of it can't be addressed without better personnel. Really and truly, I want players to be a bit more braver. If things can be done in 5 touches, do it in 5 touches or less. Don't take 25. That kills the build-up play. So yeah, man. What else have we got to see? Big up yourself, Chidi. I appreciate you. Who don't love a takeaway while watching DG? I appreciate that. Zayn looks a bit decent. He looks decent technically, and I'm sure Chelsea fans will get onto him. He's played in a couple of roles. We have to see what he needs, man. What he is. He's a decent little young player, man. He's got the, his hair stands out. So yeah, he's a good player, man. I'm an Inter fan. I don't want Bellerin. He's overrated. Fair play. Now you know how we feel. I'd rather you than us. Selling Xhaka would be a wise decision to pave the way for a more progressive centre mid to partner Partey. I think even if Xhaka stays, you need that. And I just think with Xhaka allegedly staying, if he doesn't go to Roma, the club are not going to sign that 8. DG, I think the reason they are keeping Xhaka is they're saving money for Maddison and probably a striker. We'll have to see, man. What's good, DG? Are we a weaker squad with Xhaka instead of the likes of Neves, Basuma, and Guimaraes? Well, without Neves or Guimaraes, I would say, yeah. Basuma probably, but Basuma's a bit like Lokonga and Partey. They're all same types, in it. So it's not really just Xhaka. I'd say Nene and all them things than us. Bro, Patrick, I'd rather them than us. What do you mean? Make that someone else's problem. I want a right back, bro, but I'm tired of saying it now. I think I've said that about a million times, and I don't think it's happening, man. DG, if money was no object, who's your creative mid preference? Well, it's actually these hours and all of the man that playing the pivots that I'd rather, to be fair with you. Guimaraes, all them. I'd rather an 8 than a 10. Purely because I think the game has left 10s. And with 10s, whether it's going to be Smith Rowe or somewhere else, you have to double down on them. And they need the pivot behind them to be spot on anyways. I think we can get away with I think if we will have more problems signing if we sign a 10 than an 8, really, personally. But I'm taking either. And there's, like I said, them majestic 10s are a dying breed. So if you're going to sign one, you need to double down on them. Whether that's going to be Odegaard. Historically, for all of Ozil's problems, we didn't double down on him. You need everything to work. Whether that's 10 more players working that much harder because defensively they're not on it. What will happen to Aubameyang if Martinez comes? Nothing. He has to compete, really. And he'll always play off the left at times under Arteta, man. Lautaro would be our best player by default upon joining. I mean, not for me. It's always going to be Kieran Tierney and Saka now. But I hear you, man. Interesting comments, man. Are saying we should give Kolasinac a job as a bouncer. Crazy. Breaking news: Arsenal agree personal terms with DG. What? I don't remember saying I want 60k because I would like about 70,000. Since Arsenal want to give everybody for wages they don't really deserve, I might as well sign myself. Opinion on Ben White, I like him, but we're going to learn a lot more about him, and I hope starting against Chelsea on Sunday, I think he'll probably be on the bench and that. But yeah, man. Arsenal will be calling your agent, DG, at the end of the window to offer you the right back position. They're just playing hardball to force you into taking a smaller offer. Hold firm on the big wage. You lot kill me, man. It would be just like this club to sign Lautaro Martinez to paper over the cracks of not addressing the glaring holes at centre mid, right back, and attacking mid. Bro. What do you think about Xhaka Partey partnership? It's not as bad as people make out, but it's not going to take us forward. And I think Partey play maybe a year on, people might play better, but I just think Partey is not the partner for Xhaka, and Xhaka's not the partner for him. I just think Partey looks a bit better when he's playing with somebody else. That can't be coincidental, but I have to do it, man. Price tag is very steep. But at the same time, I just hope the club know what they're doing because he's played 1 year in the Prem. You need to know his weaknesses. You need to know how to improve that. The Toro would be, but if it happens, is another thing. Man, I'm not giving up the Zaha. Shout out, Paul. He's not giving up the Zaha one. Where's Phil to back you on that one? Oh man. And you know what? We'll probably do the business in January. January is probably when we'll do our heaviest business. As you know, our club does things backwards. Between right back 8 and 10, which is the most important position if you could only fill one? I feel they're all of equal importance. I definitely feel that where 8 and right back is concerned, I'd say I'll pick addressing number 8 purely because I'm more happy to try, even though I don't want to do it. I'm more happy to try Callum Chambers and Maitland and Cedric, all getting their opportunity at right back, as opposed to the options in midfield. Really, I don't want to persist with any of really the existing midfielders, with the exception of the obvious. Lacks the pace for the Premier League. I'm not sure, RM, but I'll take your word. I'm not sure about that, but I'll take your word for it, man. Carl, it's going good, man. I know it's not going good for you, man, Carl. It looks like Grealish is gone. You lot were doing starting 11s of Buendia, Smith Rowe, and Grealish, and it looks like it's only going to include Buendia. I had to, man. I had to. But I hope you're on a serious note. I hope you're all doing well and safe. I don't think Lautaro comes if Lacazette can't be sold. So one of them ones, and probably Lacazette, if he does, just run down his deal. Baffles me how everyone was silent on Lautaro. He was integral to Inter's success together with Lacazette. I mean, with Lukaku, but their noises have always been around Lukaku, Kane, and Haaland in the past few months in terms of transfers. I mean, Martinez looked like he was going Barca one year, but I feel you, bro. We should gamble on Maddison 100%. I'm not really the biggest Onana or Neto fans. I would be cool with Onana and Neto in my heart. I don't really believe in them, man. DG, what do you think has drawn Arsenal away from Onana for around 10 million to opt for 30 million Ramsdale? I don't know, because Onana looks like he ties into what you're trying to do more. I'd rather Onana, but again, none of these keepers, I'm not really on it. I have to convince myself. I'm not convinced on Onana. Definitely not convinced on Ramsdale. I'm not really feeling the Neto one. It's one of them ones, man. I hope they add more goals, man. Listen, as long as we can pattern some outgoings, just do that, man. Interesting questions, man. I think, average managers always going to prefer average players, man. That's deep. Villa got enough good players. They got Martinez, Grealish, Mings isn't bad. Konza, not my cup of tea, but he's done all right. I'm a big John McGinn fan. They got a bunch of academy ballers. Not exactly fair. Villa are doing good things. Obviously, Grealish going is a L, because that 100 million has to probably be spent on a couple of players. Saying that Buendia's there, they have bidded for Ward-Prowse. I do back Villa to spend it wisely. Of course, nothing's going to replace Grealish until you get a next man like that, and they don't come around too often. But yeah, man. Seems like we've got a huge amount of money left to spend this window. Cam, I don't know, man, because we're always going to spend, and no one's arrived. Onana will be available for barely half a season, and he's out of contract at the end of the year. There's a reason his price is so low, and very few teams are interested in him, bro. Where in the table do you think we're going to end? More of the same, unless the mentality and the consistency doesn't improve. And obviously, I've saved the fact that we need new players, which is happening to a degree, to last. So I would say that, man, if that doesn't pattern, forget about everything, really and truly. That's just how I see it, anyways. I want to be wrong, but I can't have any optimism. I'm not really feeling Zach. There's no need for Zachariah. I'd rather try, if we're gonna bring in another midfielder like that, you might as well just double down on Basuma. There's no point going for Zachariah again right now, man. He's really disappointing me. I was on the hype train, but yeah, man. I don't know where we're getting this money from. I don't know, man. I don't work with Arsenal. Don't know how Bellerin's getting a new deal. Somehow he is. Arsenal fans shouldn't be saying anything bad about any other teams until we sort out our ish. Feel you, man. What else are you lot saying? Would you take Odegaard over Maddison if it meant another signing? Doubt we sign another player if we get Maddison, but another signing where? If it meant Martinez or it meant a right back, maybe, potentially. So yeah, man. Is what it is in that regard. We're at 378 people. Keep running that up, man. How are we not at 400 likes yet? We're close. Very close. Man said, should we play Ben White as a striker? Yo, on Bance. Appreciate that, Vic. Do you think we'll get any more transfers in? We have to, bro. If the season starts tomorrow, like I said, signings are only half the job for me in it. There's a lot that needs to be done on a coaching basis, because if signing players, we don't get the best out of our players, consistently. The players need to ask themselves questions, and the manager has to ask themselves, it's about the application. There's no point being good, being amazing for 1 week and terrible the other. We need to kind of be at it for 38 games. So for me, signings are only half the job. We could bring in they could make me happy. Sign a right back, sign a midfield, 2 midfielders, do everything I'm calling for, and it still doesn't mean we're doing anything. Does it boost our strengths? Yes, but there's a lot that needs to be done from a coaching perspective, really and truly. We need to get the best out of these boys consistently. Signings, it's about how, it's ability is one thing, but how much can these boys apply their ability day in, day out, week in, week out, and things like that. We'll have to see though, man. I think surely, but like I said, I'll shut my mouth until the end of August, man. It's been such a mixed bag from Edu and Arteta. FA Cup wins, tied down some great players. Aubameyang, Saka, Tierney, brought in Partey, but this year we need to push up that table. It's a results game. 100%. Giving XHAKA, Bellerin a new contract is just a PR stunt to increase their price. We all know about that, DG. I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. A part of me believes it's just PR. It's just trying to put pressure on them. It's not going to happen. But what if it's true? I have to consider all possibilities. I'd take Odegaard on loan again if it meant we were able to sign Martinez. We need to shift some of our players ASAP if he's on the market. 100. Big up the Twitch gang. Do you think Saliba will ever play for us? Lost his shirt number to White. I hope so. I think so. But he needs to have a big, he needs to have a big loan. It should happen irrespective of it. But I want him to have a big loan spell. Bad up Europa League. Bad up the French League. Probably won't, but get called up into the France team and all of these sort of things. Just things like a smidge of what Joe Willock did. Just that when you think of Arsenal loan players, you had Joe Willock's name, Joe, just based on what he's doing at Newcastle. I want that with Saliba now, because it just feels like the fans are making noise. If the whole footballing world sees the levels, you have to. I hope 1 year more experience. He's there to, chuck it to Gabriel and Ben White and try and get in ahead of them, because that's 3 good options there. So we'll have to see what happens, man. Taken. I hope so, but I think he's going to be sold, man. I think if the club get their initial 28 million back, they'll just say, you know what, safe. Be disappointing. The man ain't kicked the ball. Apparently, he's been assured he's still in our plans. I mean, talking about Bellerin signing a new deal, contracted until 2023. XHAKA the same. Hasn't Saliba got 2 years or so to run? I don't know that, but if he does, something needs to be done there, innit? And for me, it would be a good show of faith to give him a new deal and protect our resale value. But we have to see, man. Really do. Let's get more likes, people. Nearly 700 in the chat. Big up Will Jones for forcing that. Come on, people. Do up the like button, man. Make sure you're subscribing on Twitch as well. I don't want you lot to miss out any of the Twitch content to come. And obviously, next week, we'll be doing Q&As exclusive to Twitch. And obviously, I just come off a Q&A with the YouTube members, in which Will Jones is one. So I appreciate you lot. 410. We're not even from Brixton, but let's keep... Only a few of you will get that. That's so sad. But keep running up the likes, people. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Bellerin only has 1 year left on his contract. We're just extending so we have more negotiating power. Ooh, hope so, bro. My problem is, how would you fit Martinez in this team? Who would not play, bro? Just make sure you're not the guy who doesn't play in it. Like, it's good options to have. Do your job and make sure you can play. Aubameyang probably be the one to drop out for me. I like more natural wingers, but you could have Martinez, Aubameyang on the left, Saka on the right, Pepe on the right, Smith Rowe in the 10. There's many different options. So just make sure you're not the guy in it. I'd smash it twice if I could. Keenan, I appreciate that, man. How to improve Bellerin? I don't know, man. He needs to go somewhere else. He needs to just be, I think, just for me, just schooled on defending, like really schooled on defending, like take him back to school, pen and paper, because 1v1, he's terrible. He cannot throw a ball more time. His pace, his reading of the game. There's not a single facet I believe Bellerin can do defensively. And I like the guy. just go to school, bro. Like I said, Italy, go to Italy. If you go to Italy and you can't improve defensively, you need to change positions or just call it a day, because then it's never gonna happen. It's never ever gonna happen for you. Man said, all you Chelsea fans, click the like and don't be freeloading frauds. I appreciate you lot in Canada. Bruno and Alwa need to be signed. Hopefully, man. We're probably in a hurry to sell Lacazette because he's got a year left and Aubameyang's got 2. With XHAKA staying, I think Arteta and Eddie think about signing an attacking midfielder and striker position. I think you said. Will we focus on a number 8 and right back in January? What do you think? I think you need to focus on a number 8 now. Personally. You know, I'm not a fan of all calling Varane the Mbappe of Saliba the Mbappe of defenders and comparing him to Varane and things, because this just allows fans to just get up in arms. Just let the man develop, man. This is one thing I hate about football, is this word potential. I'm not saying he hasn't got potential anywhere else. It's just people that are really informed start waffling about potential, and they don't talk about the pitfalls of football, and then it just gets up in arms. This whole potential word and this whole over sensationalizing, carrying on sort of stuff that fans carry on with, it's very hard for me to deal with in modern football. I cannot lie with you. When there's stuff to be aggrieved about, but I don't really see that. When there's nonsense, people are vexed about nonsense and whatnot. But I guess this is the market we live in, man. Stop spamming. Things aren't going to get read. You're just going to get blocked. It's going to be unfortunate. Appreciate you, tired Ugandan. Hopefully you're not too tired. I think Smith Rowe can become an 8 in the future. 100%. I've been saying that. I don't know what value we're protecting, but, to be fair, Giroud's contract was running out this year. Chelsea gave him a new deal. They got a couple million or $1 million off AC Milan. So if we're trying to do that, fair play, but we're not negotiators like them. And unlike them, there's a use for a couple, man. We should get a right back and centre mid instead, but 2 weeks left and we are nowhere near done, boy. Interested to see what we actually end up spending. For me, true, and who we end up signing. That's why I said I'll shut up until August, because we've been seeing this story linked with bare bullish names. We're doing this, we're doing that, ultimately to be underwhelmed. So if I just accept everything at face value, what I'm told and whatnot, is what it is. If these positions ain't sorted, then Arteta will be unemployed come January. Oof. Bellerin is the biggest liability in the box when it comes to defending corners and free kicks. Trust me, he does get bullied off everything he attempts to contend. He's a boy against men in the box, and he's just not aware. He's like a newborn fox or a newborn pigeon just running about in the naughty streets of London. You're gonna get savaged by some foxes or whatever. Like, he just looks like a wounded Giselle in the wild. Like, he's not gonna last long. There's been games he's done well, and ironically, his last appearance in the last season, I felt he was good off the bench against Chelsea before he had to be subbed before being injured. But he just, come on now, man, at 26, he's been here since 17, 18 now. Like I always say, you list the best fullbacks in the Prem, or if not necessarily the best, the standout right backs, the James Justins, the Trent Alexander-Arnolds, Wan-Bissaka, Reece James, Daniela Pereira, all of these sort of names. I'm missing out a couple. None of these were about before Bellerin. Bellerin was the first on the scene. I'm not saying he needs to be better than all of them, but man, are not even in the conversation. He's not in it. He's not in it at all. Lamptey's barely done anything in the Premier League. He's better than you. Max Aarons, I love Max Aarons, but I feel people gas it up a lot. Better than you, and this ain't me trying to, do a madness, but they have not, he's just been lapped. And then I look at Bellerin, I don't see progress. Like, you should be our captain. I shouldn't be talking about right back. You got a 26-year-old that's come from our academy via Barcelona, won FA Cups here and whatnot. He should be the guy. I like Bellerin. I like the fact that he's an academy boy, so I like him in it. He's one of these players that are not good, but I like. And on top of that, I like how he's not afraid to be himself. Where people say focus on football unfairly and things, where you can focus on football, which he needs to do, of course, but still do the fashion thing and all of these other things. I like all of that stuff. But I look at you, as a fullback, are you good going forward? No, you're not particularly. Are you good defensively 1v1? Is your positioning good? Are you very street smart? Are you street smart at all? You're none of these things. Whether it's been injuries, a change of diet, a lack of competition, just not improving, I don't really care at this moment in time. I don't even think it's the diet and all of that stuff that people say. Injuries have played a part. It's the overall intelligence. And to be fair, if you get injured, that doesn't affect your intelligence. If I break my leg and I come back, and my leg's fixed, I still know I have to cover. There's no correlation there. So it's just the footballing IQ hasn't kicked on. And I see a lot of footballers like that. It hasn't kicked on at all. Like Chambers has better footballing IQ in your position than you. You're not the best right back in the club. Two men that are better than you are not even right backs. Chambers is a centre back. He's even been on loan and playing midfield. Maitland-Niles didn't do bad at West Brom, but didn't pull up any trees. He's better than you, you know. Cedric is frozen out at the club, but Arteta himself opened his mouth and said Cedric is the best in the final third. Never heard that about Bellerin. There's at best with Bellerin, he does these little moments. He goes through these little real purple patches of form where you think, all right, cool, Bellerin's here now. We finally got there. There might be something. Maybe I writ him off. And then I clock that's all he's gonna do. And we might sell Bellerin and the penny drops. We might sell XHAKA and he excels somewhere. Selling Eddie might be the worst thing. He might look like a striker. But we're at that stage as a club. We need to make decisions and double down on them now. If that happens, that happens. We keep going, you're leaving now, you're going now, you're leaving. It's not going to take us anywhere. It's not going to help us progress. And it's just, we're going to keep saying the same old things again and again and again. We're talking about the same old things again and again, year in, year out. I do think he has a desire to improve, Bellerin. I think that's harsh, but I can't disagree with what you're saying. He's awful at marking. He showed lack of ambition. I do think his Alexis Sanchez comments were taken out of context, but it doesn't sound good. He just hasn't improved. He can't take a throw in. It's like, I'm not trying to be harsh on Bellerin. It's like, you're meant to be Arsenal Football Club. You're not Levels. It's the same way if you play for United or Chelsea or in Liverpool in current day City and that. You don't have to be the best technically, but you either need to be one of the best in the world / in the league in your position, or you need to be incredibly certified in that. His mentality is too soft as well. Tini set the standards high. That's harsh. That's the thing for me. It's the IQ, man. The IQ ain't there. Like the IQ, the genuine intelligence isn't there, man. It's just not there, bro. It's quite upsetting, man. The man said we ain't making it out the hood. Go down well, see like saying. I don't think it's nothing to do with it because there's footballers apparently who have done the vegan thing as well or been vegan. Like you heard Gnabry had a little period with that, bro. It's only if Messi come out and said he's vegan, what am I gonna say? Everyone's gonna turn it. I don't even think it's a diet thing. And plus, a lot of people that I think it's quite disrespectful to look at his diet. And plus, unless you lot are qualified, diet people, you lot are talking nonsense, really, aren't you? It's got nothing to do with that. Like, how do we know he's not doing the man? He's being like the man there that say they don't eat pork and then they're going eating jerk pork in their yard. There, man, come on now, man. Come on, people. I don't think it's that. I think the injury is more likely is a more relevant conversation to have than his diet. Like, if Messi says he's a vegan, what happens then? I'm healthy, my guy. Don't worry. Definitely take a break. EG, do you think Auer is genuinely inconsistent and can be at times frustrating? Would he really be a good signing for Arsenal? I think he would, but he's not without anything else. He's not perfect. But then if you're relying on pace, bro, then you're not using your IQ. So it is IQ as well as the lack of pace, which as a result, as like I said, comes from injuries. So like I said, injuries and the game and his IQ is a more relevant conversation to have. Does the re-signing of XHAKA, Elijah says, apologies, indicate that Sambi is ready for the role and XHAKA can be a backup? I'm not really sure how we're going to use it. So I'd say it just means that maybe there's something being changed in relation to what we're doing in the transfer market personally. I don't know about bro. Don't ask me about league titles and all of these sort of things, bro. It's dead. Like, I need to qualify for the basic thing. If Ronaldo allegedly is a vegan, of course, on the top of his ability, what does that mean? That exactly Bellerin's problems are not vegan, it's injuries and footballing IQ. You know, I think a lack of competition at right back has harmed you as well. Respect deluded, bare ignorant dons. Chris Paul playing some of his best basketball on the plant-based thing, bros. I don't think he's not dedicated to football. I just think he just ain't improved. So you need to keep it moving, man. I don't know if we'll sign Lautaro, but yeah, man. Last question. At this moment in time, DG, do you think the board have done enough to help Arteta improve our league position from last year? Do you think a sacking is fair if he finishes 8th? I don't think the club has backed any of these managers that have come in. And I do think it's fair if he gets sacked because regardless, he knew the role he was walking into. And a lot of the time, you know, I do think Arsenal fans, not saying you, but people uh, lack the ability to blame multiple parties. Like you can blame Arteta for the sporting aspect. He's the one that picks the team with obviously considering historically the nonsense that those above him has done. So I would say that, and he knew the role he was coming into. You know, if there's no progress, you've got to go. It's a result game business, and there's a lot of propaganda relating to Arteta. And really, even though I back Arteta a lot, what is it off? What is it off? You won the FA Cup, fair play. There is some sort of legs to it, but what is it really off? Based on how, you know, Wenger, you've managed that, you've played under Wenger, you've, you know, spoken to Bielsa, you've worked with Pep, and we hear about all of these things. I don't know. Bro, that's why Saka's fucking sick, G. That's why he's sick. Don't get it twisted. Saka is a baller, anyways. But if you was to look at it, Saka's got tech in that. But is Saka more skillful than Nelson? He's not more. There's bare man that are more flash in the pan, do all of them 100 step overs, all them things there. But once they do the step over, they're passing when they need to shoot. They're shooting when they need to pass. They're running into blind alleys. Saka's thing is different. You know, he has got skills, but he knows I'm getting past you. I'm getting my head up. I'm going for a 1-2 and all of these things. The IQ is very intelligent. The best footballers see the pictures first. You know, such is life. If a defender makes one mad slide tackle, everyone's gonna bread it. It's gonna sell. It's gonna sell. It's gonna sell the match of the day highlights. But no one's gonna praise that defender who didn't have to make the slide tackle because he read the situation. He clocked what the striker was gonna do, and he just got tight and just intercepted the ball and kept it moving. It's not even a highlight. But people don't really look for these things there. You know, football intelligence is everything, bro. If you're relying on pace and strength, them things there are subjective. That's why you see a lot of some young players, they might be bullies in the youth football. Them like they're stronger than everyone, they're faster than everyone, they're more skillers than everyone. The minute they buck someone who they try to do the skill with and he absolutely weights them or is quicker than them, they struggle. You know, and as you go on in your career, if you're just relying on the brain, unless you lose your brain, you're gonna be cool. You know, that's why some of these ball. Look at Jermaine Defoe. That's why Jermaine Defoe can keep. He's still at Rangers and doing his thing because he's got a brain. Like he's never been a striker that relies on stuff. He understands how to put a ball in the back of the net, the dark arts and all of them things. So his career, you know, it's extended it. Kevin Phillips as well. Why do you think he kept playing and he's still about? When you're relying on, you know, you're gonna lose physical power. You know, you're gonna lose a lot. J. Emmanuel Thomas, he had a lot to his game. The minute I don't know why it struggled. You know, you hear things about attitude. I don't know. I just think physically he weren't able to move to people anymore like that. You know. That's why you need to be out your comfort zone and develop and all of these sort of things. The brain, man, especially in midfield, if things can be done in 5 touches, you need to do it in 5 or less. That's what the best midfielders would do. Not take 10, 12, 15, 20. That is not what people will do. It's how the world works, man. But that's just how I feel, man. I think that's the one thing Bellerin can do. Just about make a 5-yard pass. Busquets is a goal. Saka's IQ is amazing, bro. And even like he's a bit irrelevant, but you don't know me, I'm a big fan of Marcus Rashford. One problem I have with Marcus Rashford is that footballing IQ. I think not quite Bellerin, but I don't think it's improved significantly. I look at Greenwood. Greenwood's IQ is better than yours, and you give him a year of experience, it's gonna be better than you. Like Rashford's IQ is terrible. You even saw it when he was coming off the bench in the Euros. There's bare footballers like that. I look at them, I'm like, how comes it's not accelerating? Even Nelson, like Nelson, I think, can come with scoring. I mean, playing somewhere and getting confidence, but his IQ is not levels. Like, it's not levels right now. So yeah, man. I think you have to be given a scope to get that. But it is what it is. I don't know why we haven't sold anything, man. anyone. And I'm a big Rashford fan, but it's the IQ thing, man. And I think a manager can work with that, but I genuinely think them things there, players have got to work on it themselves. You've got to look back at your thing. Why am I shooting when I can pass? Why am I pass when I look at Sterling? Sterling hasn't improved that much as a footballer technically in the short space of time. Shout out to Pep. Pep's work with him, but the penny's dropped. He understands. All right, cool. Doing skills on the edge of the what do you call it? The byline. It's not going to bang. I need to get closer into the area. I need to make different sort of runs. I need to have more clarity when I'm doing things. Do you get it? These sort of things make the difference. It's about having a brain, but these things are not glamorous, especially in the Premier League. We praise, someone can, there's certain midfielders who have shit games. They might score at the end of it week in, week out. And because they're getting fantasy league points, people keep saying this, that, and the third. And the minute you see them in the Euros kind of showed who's a baller and who's not. You saw a certain man looking fraudy. To be fair, there was good players that looked bad and there was rubbish players that looked good. But you saw it, Footballing IQ. I'm not saying Bruno Fernandes ain't got IQ, but the minute he tried to come with that foolishness he does at United, which works for Portugal, it weren't going to fly. It weren't going to run. You've seen Werner struggle in that regards as well. You've seen Rashford, as I said, other guys were thriving. Pedri, don't matter how old he is, the IQ's there. Man's movement and whatnot is elite. Simple as that. Like you saw with Rashford, whatever you got to say about, I mean Sterling, whatever you got to say about him, you saw who's got a brain and who hasn't. Sometimes you just got to double down on what you're good at, in my opinion. It's like Lukaku. Lukaku's general players improved, but for years it was like he was trying to do what the skinny man strikers were doing. No, you're a bully man. Just stick to doing that and thrive. And it seems like he's doing that, and he's doing all right now, man. It's all about the but you see, with this country, the culture is dead. Bro, I don't know for Xhaka's IQ because I see someone taking 1,000,000 touches and I see someone being dispossessed, but at the same time, he has hit that, man. But that is it. I just said that literally, man. I literally said it could improve by going out and playing football because you would naturally learn. I've held on to the ball for too long. Someone's fucking clarted my leg off. I need to give it a bit earlier. I need to read. Like Balogun, that's why I wanted Balogun to play last year, so he could see the levels I need to be at. I would have loved to have seen him get a couple appearances in the Prem, so he could see, all right, cool. This is what the Prem's about. This is what I was doing in the youth football that I can't go with now because it's not gonna bang for me. These sort of things. But you're right, minutes are currency, 100%. The thing is, I think Bruno's a baller though. Like I just think he relies on the stat padding thing. I think he's a baller. I think he can be worked with someone. I don't know if Ollie's the guy that's gonna, get the ball rolling in his mind and things like that. Bro, Mertesacker had IQ, just like you said, slow as hell, bro. Like look at Daley Blin. He might not have been a madness at United, but now you see he keeps doing he keeps doing his thing when he's about. The IQ is there. That's why he can do all of these roles. So yeah, man, it is what it is in that regards. Make sure you're hitting the like button. All right, make sure you're subscribing on Twitch as well, and you're also subscribing via Amazon Prime, especially if you do not want adverts on Twitch. Big up you for that one. Big up S for pumping that one. Let's get one more question in before I keep it moving. Why not, man? Man said, I'm a United fan. The only thing DG is wrong about is Bruno being a baller. He really is a flat chat bully. That's harsh, man. That's very harsh. Super chat. If somehow Martial isn't in Ollie's plans, his flair and link-up play would be valuable for someone like Arsenal. He's on 250k a week, though, done wages. I mean, that's what we should have got, bro, when we was trying to get Mkhitaryan. Disagree. Xhaka is an extremely good footballer. He's not a bad footballer. He's kind of misunderstood, but he's allegedly had a good season last year, in which I'm saying it because I believe, but she hardly pulled up any trees. We're going to get what we're going to get with Xhaka, Extremely good footballer. I think the standards are on the floor personally, but I respect your opinion and love for the super chat, Zane. 19 more likes to go until we hit 19 more likes until we hit 500 as well, people. What's going on, man? Of course, Zlatan's got IQ. You don't lose it, like. Of course, Martial would bang at Arsenal. What do you mean? Not through the middle, though. Eddie will have a good career, and there's nothing wrong. At the time, he's 22. Generally, he's young. You can, bro, like he's not gonna be these guys. But where was Jamie Vardy, Harry Kane, and Aubameyang at 22? You know, Aubameyang's probably getting loaned out by AC Milan. I don't know where Harry Kane was, and Jamie Vardy was probably still working part time. I'm not saying he's gonna do that. I'm just saying his timing. He's still young. But the thing is, Arsenal, we ain't got time for you to develop. It's not the Eddie and Ketia show. It's not a nursery. You need to prove your levels. You know, you need to prove your worth persistent with. You've had your opportunity. You ain't really taking it. Now it's time to go somewhere else and prove Arsenal wrong and let the penny drop and become a footballer. You need to be playing 20, 30 games, starting appearances, proper minutes against week in, week out, showing you're consistent against big boy centre-backs. It's all fun and games where we're not even in it anymore, but turning up in the Europa and playing Dundalk and all of these things and getting gassed and FA Cups and doing all the hand signs, that's dead. You're not going to do much. You know, you're not going to do much with it, with that, really. You're not going to do a thing, really. Oh, yeah, man. It is what it is. But on that regards, though, people, we've been here for an hour and 44 minutes. I'm getting quite hungry, so it's time to go eat. Enjoy whatever you lot are doing on Saturday. I would say I'll be back again tomorrow. I will be back at some point tomorrow. I'm going to the game, so there's going to be no watch along. But at the same time, I will be here. I appreciate everyone that was in both of my live streams. I appreciate everyone who supported the thing in this live stream. I appreciate the 600 odd of you and the people that have hit the like button. Please make sure you're subscribed on Twitter. I mean, a man said on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube. Yes, you know, you're checking out the DG podcast and all of those sort of things, man. I really appreciate you guys, man. Tino, have an even better day and everybody like that, man. You know, I'd rather I've rate Martinez. That was the last sort of question I saw there. So yeah, man. But yeah, man. Appreciate you lot, man. Appreciate you lot, man. It's a very good. I don't even want to leave you lot, man. There's some interesting comments, but yeah, I'm gonna love and leave you lot, man. Have we hit 500 likes? If we hit 500 likes, we're doing bits still. 511 likes, people. Thank you very much, man. If you've hit the like button, God bless you. Wishing you physical health, you know, financial freedom and all that good stuff. If you haven't hit the like button, fuck you then. It's as simple as that, man. Really and truly. Make sure you subscribed on Twitch. Gonna love and leave you, man, till we meet again.
Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.